This video is not going to be in regards to the Rose engine. I've decided to take a short break from it in order to touch up an existing plugin I had previously written for MV. This plugin was written quite some time ago while I was still coming to grips with JavaScript, so I decided to do a full rewrite and rebranding of the plugin. So today I'm releasing Lilac Throwable Events, a plugin that is available for use in both MV as well as MZ. This plugin is relatively simple to use and is very straightforward, and I'll make a few examples here to show you what this plugin is capable of. So as soon as we enter the plugin manager, you'll see we have 4 parameters available. These are all optional parameters. The first one is the default throw distance, which is set to 1 by default. And this allows you to specify how far events will be thrown. You can change this in-game by plugin commands, which I'll show you later as well. The second and third one are sound effects. Here you can set a sound effect to play when you pick up or throw an event, respectively. The final one is restricted regions, and any region you specify here, thrown events will not go past. For now, I'll just set up pickup and throw sound effects. And for the pickup sound effect, I'll use, let me see, jump 1. I won't change the volume or the pitch or the pan, I'll just leave them at default. And for the throw sound effect, I will set this to fall. And again, volume, pitch, and pan, I'll leave at default. And I'll specify region 1 to be a restricted region. Before we start up the game window, I'm going to add a new event to show you how to make it throwable. For the image, I think I'll go with this rock here in other1. And to make a event throwable, you'll need to add a comment and add in this note tag under instructions. You can find it right here. To create a throwable event, add a comment on said event. This comment must include the text from the line below. So just copy that, paste that in there, apply it, and we'll run the game real quick. And once we're in game, you can pick up an event by walking up to it and pressing the action button. And likewise, pressing the action button again will throw the event. That's the basics of this plugin. However, there is a lot more to this plugin than just that. You can run specific event commands when an object is picked up or thrown, and I'll show you how to set that up real quick. So we'll jump back in here, and we're going to add another comment, and if you press F1 here, you'll be taken to this window, and just choose the plugin, Lilac Throwable Events, scroll down, and you can see right here, you can run specific code both when the item is picked up and again when the object is thrown. To do this, add one of the comments below. Any event commands placed below this comment will be executed when thrown or picked up, depending on the comment used. So you don't have to just use one, you can use both of them, or you can use just one. It doesn't really matter. So when we throw the event, and again, when we pick up the event, now any code that's below pickup is going to be executed when we pick up this object or this event. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the player's move speed because he shouldn't walk as fast when he's carrying something heavy. So I'll set move route, and for the player, and change speed, I'll change it to 2. Okay, and then after we throw it, I'm going to reset his move speed back to default, which I believe is 4. Okay. So let's try this out again. Now you can see when we pick up the rock, we walk a lot slower. And after we throw it, we're back to normal move speed. Okay, and there's still a few more things that we can do with this plugin. We can add requirements before an object can be picked up and thrown. And I'll go ahead and set up a new event for this. I'll pick something that looks a little heavier than our rock for the image. So I'm going to go back to other one, and I'll pick this shiny ball, whatever it is. Okay, and I'm going to add another comment here. And I'll press F1 again. We'll be taken back to this window, and if you scroll down a little ways further, right here, there is more under the instructions section, where it says you can also add requirements in order for the player to pick up certain events, such as requiring specific items, equipment, a variable, switch, state, or stat. And you can just copy paste them from here. I'm going to use an armor as a requirement. So I'll copy this. And anything that's capitalized, you'll have to replace. So where it says require armor ID, replace ID with the ID of the armor. Where it says require variable ID value, you'll replace the ID with the ID of the variable, and the value with either true or false. It's all written down here. If you scroll down a little ways, you'll see the documentation for it. It's all explained rather clearly. For right now, I'm just going to stick with an armor, and I'm going to require armor 4. So now we should only be able to pick up this event when we have armor 4. So if we try to pick it up, you'll see we just can't do it. We can still pick up the other one, but not that one. So I'm going to add a new event here that will give me armor 4. Alright, so that will give us item 4, or armor 4. So now if we jump into the game, okay, we'll get item 4, and we'll have to equip it on the party leader. And now you can see we can pick this up. However, I want to change this a little bit. I'm going to take these comments here. If this object is heavier, I think we should change the speed to be a little bit slower. So we'll drop it down all the way to 1. Now there's also some plugin commands you can take advantage of, one of which is changing the throw distance. So I'll change the throw distance of our events here so that our heavy object is thrown less far than our rock object. So I'm going to add a plugin command, and I can press F1 and jump into our Lilac Throwable Events help file and scroll down to plugin commands. And you can see right here we have set throw distance X, and change the throw distance to X, replace X with a number value of 1 or higher. We also have a couple other plugin commands here, which I'll cover here in a little bit. So I'm going to make this one throwable by 2. So it'll travel 2 tiles instead of 1. And this one I'm going to make throwable by 1. So now when we pick up this rock, you'll see it travels two spaces instead of 1. And we need the gloves again. And when we throw this one, you'll see it only travels 1 tile in front of the player. And the other command, I'm not going to use it in this video, but I will cover it real quick. It's relatively simple to use. The other commands are force pickup and force throw. If you need to integrate this mechanic into a cutscene, it's possible by using these commands. I won't show these off, but they are pretty simple to use, and we'll take a quick look at them here before we move on. So force pickup event ID. Force the player to pick up the event with the ID of event ID. Replace event ID with the ID of the event you want the player to pick up. This can be useful for cutscenes. And I guess I forgot to put in the command for force throw, but it works the same way. You just type in force throw and you don't have to put event ID. And I forgot to add in the force throw command under the help file, but it works relatively the same way. You just type force throw with an underscore between force and throw, and that's it. You don't need the event ID. Whatever event the player is carrying, he will throw it. Now, like I said, this plugin works for both MV and MZ. The only differences between the versions is that MZ plugin commands operate slightly different due to the new plugin manager, and in my opinion, they are far easier to set up. Okay, so I am going to jump over to MZ, and I'll show you the difference in how to use plugin commands, because that is honestly the only difference in how to use this plugin. So I'm going to add the plugin here in the plugin manager. And I'll jump to the event editor mode. I'll add a new event here. Other one. And now when we choose plugin command, you'll see you choose Lilac Throwable Events. And we can choose set throw distance, and we can change the throw distance. Or for force pickup, you'll see we can set the event ID right there. And that's it for this video. If you're interested in trying out the plugin, you can download it from itch.io or on my website. However, unfortunately, my website is temporarily down right now, but it should be back up relatively soon. If you find this plugin useful, please consider supporting my work through Patreon or Ko-fi. You can find links in the description below. Thanks for watching, and have an awesome day.